This is solo episode 165. Welcome to the Pursuit of Happiness podcast. I am your host, Ryan McGuire. This is a podcast where I get to interview people from all over the world, from all walks of life, who have stories and experiences to share, or an expertise that we can learn from when pursuing our happiness. I cover a wide range of topics because, let's be real, there are many areas and subject matters that contribute to your overall happiness in life. And today I'm doing a solo episode. It will not be a long one, but I am rather confident that someone out there, if not multiple people out there, have to listen to this episode. This is episode 165 now. Unbelievable to think about. 4+ years of doing this podcast, The Pursuit of Happiness. Many of my conversations are based around what makes people happy, how they found happiness, or how they've been in tough spots and how they've overcome it. Some absolutely incredible stories, and I'm starting to connect some dots after 4 years of doing this. And I figured, you know what, I need to make an episode, if not multiple episodes. I've also talked about the possibility of coming out with a book down the road about my learnings, talking to these incredible people. And something that I have noticed that I wanted to share with you all is that some of the most happiest people I've had on my podcast have taken a chance on themselves. They've taken a leap of faith. And I know all of us at one point, if not multiple points in their life, you're faced with a decision. Do you go for something you want? Do you take a chance not knowing the outcome, or do you stay where you're comfortable, perhaps even miserable, but you're comfortable, you know what the outcome is? It could be your job, it can be your relationship, it could just be the lifestyle that you're in, it could be food, diet, whatever. So many of us are just used to the comfort of the day after day after day, knowing that they want to do something else for their lives. They're just not happy, but they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know the outcome. They're afraid to take that leap of faith on themselves, wondering what happens if they fail. Now, if you've listened to my podcast, you may know that there are numerous guests that have just taken this leap of faith without a safety net. And it's worked out for them. I'm not going to say here as a podcast host that I would recommend anybody to take a leap of faith without somewhat of a safety net or a backup plan, especially if it's a huge life change, if it's moving halfway across the world, if it's quitting your job and having no income. But hey, maybe that actually is for you. I'm just here to encourage you to, I guess, look into the mirror and ask yourself, what is stopping you from taking a chance on yourself? It's gotten to the point after all of these interviews, it's not just a coincidence that all of these people have taken a chance on themselves, but it always tends to work out, whether it's how they intended or perhaps they try to take this chance on themselves and it led them in a different direction, one they just did not see coming. So perhaps view failure or not getting the outcome that you wanted as just a point in a different direction. But I think something that people fail to comprehend and calculate is just how high you can fly when you have to succeed, when you've bet on yourself to succeed and you don't have a choice for another outcome. It's like an X factor that you can't calculate. When you have a fallback plan, when you are comfortable and you're not putting all into where you want to go and what you want to try and these ideas that come to your mind, many of you out there might be thinking, well, I've tried this and it just hasn't worked in the past. I've failed. It's just not going to work. I guess my question to you is, really, have you really tried, or have you always had somewhat of a safety net so you haven't tried as hard as you possibly can? How high can you actually fly if you don't have a choice but to succeed? So the point of this episode is I just want to encourage you to take another look as to why you might not be taking that chance. You might not be taking that leap of faith. Is it because you're scared? Is it because you just don't know the outcome? Is it because you're afraid to fail? Like I said, I think you need to take a look and think of what failure actually is. I don't really know of anyone who regretted taking a chance on themselves or something that they really, truly want. I don't know anybody that regrets that. I mean, heck, I am case in point here. I am 4+ years into this podcast. I took a chance. You know, God knows how many millions of podcasts there are out there in the world. Honestly, it's kind of a flooded market. But, you know, I said it was during COVID. I was like, you know what? I need a happier outlet. I need to talk to people smarter, happier, more passionate than I am. I need to have some positivity into my life, and I know other people need that too. So I made the announcement. I'm going to do this podcast. I've never recorded anything. Never had any interview experience whatsoever. And I will say 4+ years later, it's just been the most amazing experience that I possibly have ever had. I don't regret for a single day starting this podcast, and the amount of positivity and people I've met and networking and connections, and I'm just so thankful and grateful that I took that chance and I stopped caring what other people might think. After toying with this idea for so long, I said, you know what, I'm going to take a chance. I don't want to have any regrets. That's something where if you've listened to my podcast as well, I talk about not having regrets. And that's something I would recommend you do, is not have any regrets. I certainly don't want to be on my deathbed any point soon, but I definitely don't want to be there saying I wish I would have, I wish I could have. I don't know what would have happened if I tried this or if I went after what I wanted. So I just want to give you words of encouragement and perhaps a little nudge to take a chance on yourself. If there's something that you feel like has been calling you and it just won't leave you alone, or something, if you find yourself saying, I really wish I could do this, or I really wish I'd be doing this, what is stopping you? I mean, seriously, what is stopping you? Because most likely it's just you, your attitude, and your mindset. And this all goes back to the numerous amounts of guests that I've had that have just taken chances on themselves, and they're so happy. And that's how I found them. That's why they're on this podcast, is because they're happy. They have been through a lot of crap in their lives. They were miserable, they were depressed, and now they're happy. That's exactly what this podcast is about. And I've tied a lot of common threads, and this is definitely one of them. I want to reiterate, there's a lot of people that have been on my podcast that have just taken a leap of faith, not knowing the outcome, and they're incredibly happy. So I don't know what you're waiting for. If you don't know what you're waiting for, figure it out, or just take a leap of faith. When you go after things that you really want and things you're passionate about, they tend to work out one way or another. As my recent guest, George Bryant, just said, take a swing. Just take a swing. If you swing and miss, get back in the box and take another swing. I can't wait for you all to take a chance on yourself, because you know you can do it. And if this episode has been encouraging to you, I would love to hear about it. Please let me know, whether it's on Instagram at The Pursuit of Happiness Podcast, or you can find me at IamRyanMcGuire.com. Find me one way or another. Let me know. And please share this episode with friends and family. I know everyone can use a little encouragement. We've all been at a place in life once, twice, 3, 4, 5, if not more times, where we have to make a decision on just what's going to make us happy, or do we want to just stay in the same old because it's comfortable. Like I just said, take a swing. Go for it. I can't wait to hear about your pursuit of happiness. You live once. Go make it happen.